Good evening. A little known fact about me. When I was a kid, we had a family friend that would babysit my sister and I. She used to call me Pumpkin. Completely unrelated, I grew up loving all things pumpkin. Pumpkin pie, bread, spiced coffee, brownies, cookies, pumpkin savory soup is underrated as hell. And all that got me thinking. Since I'm a little pumpkin, and I eat pumpkins.
Is it technically cannibalism for a pumpkin to drink pumpkin spice?
Ooh, my character designer is tingling. No fables in this video, guys. I need to ramble about gourds. Inspired by the residents of Pottsfield in the best TV series ever, Over the Garden Wall, Episode 2, Hard Times at the Huskin Bee, and also inspired by Rachel Maxey's videos on making her Victorian pumpkin lady costume, I wanted to make my pumpkin lady cute and unassuming. She only eats pumpkins after all. People have no reason to be afraid of her. Right? I also designed her a husband, Abraham, who is canonically dead. Rest in peace, Abraham. I can't really remember much about the design process, it was 3 years ago, but I did want to keep her design simple so I could push the subject of any piece she's in without worrying too much about the details. So while I fuss over the background and overshading, I guess I could throw in some nifty facts about pumpkins, or pumpians, as they were called back in the day. Despite my love of pumpkins, I'll admit, I know, or knew after writing this, very little about them. The first pumpkins that were cultivated were from Mexico by the Aztecs back around 5,500 BC. Do people still use that time of measurement? The cultivation of these hardy gourds spread over Central America all the way up to Massachusetts with the famous Wampanoag people. You might recognize the name due to their involvement in hosting a little get-together that was the predecessor to a little American celebration called Thanksgiving. You may have heard of it. Now, pumpkins and other members of the squash family were part of the Three Sisters, or the three core crops of Native American agriculture. The other two being maize, or corn, and beans. And so it would have remained the main crops of North America before the Europeans came over and got sassy about their beloved apples and pears, making pumpkins, despite basically saving the early settlers from starvation, to be looked down upon by most people in the 1600s, specifically in the South, where they rejected the New England fads of pumpkin pie and Thanksgiving and ate sweet potato pie instead. A surefire way to tell if someone was an abolitionist is if they referred to pumpkin pie rather than sweet potato when talking about the harvest food.
I go, black people don't eat pumpkin pie.
Oh, that's why. One such abolitionist was Sarah Hale. She was a poet, editor, and women's activist on top of being a strong supporter in historical preservation. As part of her mission in securing the American spirit, Hale wrote to many presidents over the years to make Thanksgiving a national holiday. At the time, America only had 2 holidays, Washington's birthday and Independence Day. I just double-checked the info. Sarah not only wrote to Presidents Zachary Taylor, Millard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, and James Buchanan, she also wrote to members of Congress and every state governor to petition the establishment of Thanksgiving as a national holiday for 17 years. But then, finally, October 3rd, 1863, Abraham Lincoln decreed it so in the Thanksgiving Proclamation, in which he encouraged every American to celebrate their blessings and to do so with humble penitence to the Almighty. The holiday wouldn't be fully celebrated for another 2 years or so, as America was a little busy having a civil war. It was signed into law by President Ulysses Grant in 1870 with the Holidays Act. And then later there was the whole debacle with Thanksgiving in 1939. I'll try to give a brief recap of Thanksgiving. So, when FDR was president, we were in the middle of a little something called the Great Depression. And Roosevelt thought an earlier Thanksgiving would give merchants a longer period to sell goods before Christmas, increasing profits to help bring the country out of the Depression. At the time, advertising goods for Christmas before Thanksgiving was considered inappropriate, as it should be. Fred Lazarus Jr., Lazarus is a cool name, founder of the Federal Department Store, later Macy's, is credited with convincing Roosevelt to push Thanksgiving a week earlier to expand the shopping season. Republicans decried the change, calling it an affront to the memory of Lincoln. People began referring to November 30th as Republican Thanksgiving and November 23rd as the Democratic Thanksgiving or Franksgiving. Fucking Macy's! Oh my god! We try not to get political during Thanksgiving, but the entire history of the holiday is a political statement. Do you stand for the spirit of unity and historical preservation? Or are you a capitalist? I kind of forgot the original pumpkin topic, but aside from Halloween, Thanksgiving is really the pumpkin's true time to shine from a historical standpoint. Going back to the artwork, I think it's funny that I chose a pumpkin to be the focus of a cannibalistic character when pumpkins have historically been used to save people from starvation and avoid resorting to it. I also think it's funny that I named Abigail's late husband Abraham. That was not intentional at all. I had no idea. I hope you enjoyed this roller coaster of a video. I certainly enjoyed learning that my favorite American holiday was created because of a civil war. Oh, the irony. The holiday notorious for dividing households over political debates was created because of a political debate dividing households. Something something, cannibal pumpkins. Thank you and good night.